it comes under writing ability in class 12, job application. So after letter writing, letter to editor, letter of inquiry, complaint letter, we have one more topic called job application. So this is actually the notes I prepared for class 12 students. So in class 12, the job application is for 5 marks, and we have to write the job application in the format covering letter, and we have to attach resume or CV, or we can call it as a biodata in Indian language. So in class 12 English, you have job application. So what is job application? All those things I will not explain in detail, because as you are all postgraduates working, you know what is the job application. So it is a kind of a letter we write to apply for any job. But when do you write this job application? When you find an advertisement in the newspaper that so and so post is vacant, so you can apply if you are eligible. For example, in a newspaper ad, you found PGT English post is available in Sarla Birla International School, Bangalore. Package will be around 1 lakh to 2 lakhs rupees. Okay, so will you all apply? Preeti?
Sir, can you please ask the question again?
There is one advertisement in the Times of India newspaper that there is a vacancy of postgraduate teacher PGT English in Sarla Birla Academy, Bangalore, and the pay is 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs per month. Would you like to apply or not, Preeti?
Of course, sir.
Of course. You will come to Bangalore?
Of course, sir. If it's giving 1.2 lakh, definitely. No second thought about it.
Alright, good. So in that case, you have to first apply for that mentioned job in the application or in the advertisement. So the way we have to write the job application, see, you don't try to compare this job application with the resume, contemporary resume. It is class 12 standard job application. So in this job application, you are writing a response to the advertisement you have seen in a newspaper ad, classified advertisements. So this job application is meant for applying for the said job, for example PGT English in Sarla Birla English Academy. Now how to write the job application? The importance I told you, whenever you want to apply for any job, the first step is you have to submit a job application. You can call it in latest version, it is called resume or curriculum vitae or biodata you have to attach. Now there are so many methods you may have to write or prepare a job application, but this is one of the methods. CBSE has not prescribed any method for job application. They have given a format that there must be a covering letter and resume, or it can call it a CV or biodata depending upon the question. That means in the question, if they have given you prepare job application and attach resume, then you will just use the word resume. If they ask to attach curriculum vitae, then we'll attach the CV. Or if they ask us biodata, Indianized word, this is biodata. So if whatever the word they ask, they will attach that one, but the format will remain same. So according to CBSE, this job application is divided into 2 parts, but some students, some schools, they advise to write in one single letter, writing in the body of the letter only the important information which I have displayed on the right side of the screen. So covering letter and resume, these are the 2 parts of the job application. So what is covering letter? This is the format of the covering letter, exactly like the formal letter. Whatever the format we have used for formal letter, the same format we are going to use for covering letter, but it is not known as a formal letter, it is known as a covering letter. So in exams, if by chance if you get a question, what is the letter we have to write when we are going to apply for any job, then you remember it is a covering letter, not the formal letter. Now address of the sender, if we discuss format, same formal address, formal format, address of the sender, date, address of the receiver, salutation, subject. You can interchange subject and salutation, that is not an issue. Then body of the covering letter. In class 12, it is the word limit is 80 words. Then subscription, signature and designation. So this is the format. And what is speciality or what is the extra we are going to write other than in the formal letter is we have to give enclosures. Whatever the enclosures we are going to attach with this document, those things to be mentioned at the bottom of the covering letter. If they asked you to write CV, then you have to mention CV. If they asked you to write resume, you have to mention resume. If they give you to write biodata, you have to attach biodata. Enclosed, one will be there, not three will be here. Then if they ask you to submit passport size photo, that also you should enclose, and copy of your certificates, whatever your certificates you have, post graduation certificates, all those things you have to attach. So this is the format of the covering letter, and this is the content what you have to write in the covering letter. Now I will show you an example covering letter, the way we have prepared. It is not in this. Okay, fine, no problem. I suppose I have saved in one more slide. So covering letter, you will write in this format: address of the sender, date, address of the receiver, salutation, subject. And in the body of the covering letter, you will write with reference to the advertisement, with reference to your advertisement published in so and so newspaper on so and so date, I would like to apply for the mentioned post. I suppose it's okay, leave it, no problem. So body of the covering letter you have to write in this way: with reference to advertisement given in Times of India newspaper on 1st February 2022 for the post of PGT English in Sarla Birla Academy, I would like to apply for the post. In this way you have to write the covering letter. Simple, that is no other thing. After completion of that, you can write the list of the enclosures are attached for your reference. If you want to add any one more line or sentence, you can write looking forward, or I am the best candidate or suitable candidate for the mentioned post. So likewise, one or two lines if you write, that is enough for the covering letter. Now these things are important. Enclosures, whatever you are going to enclose, you have to write. I am teaching this as a class 12 students, not like you. The thing is, if you get questions in class in KVS exam, you should write answer to the questions, because they are going to test you whether you knew this topic or not to teach class 12 students. So that's why I am not teaching this topic, writing ability topics, not for the postgraduate students. I am teaching that level of the topic is for class 12 students only. So this is the covering letter, that is the first part of the job application. The second part of the job application is known as resume, CV or biodata, but for a standard we made it like this, a tabular form where whatever the required information is required, that we have written here, and the information fields left blank so that the students can write the information on the right side of the form. So this is the way we have divided. We will make this page equal half, and then left side of the page we will write full name, father's name, date of birth, sex, marital status, address, education qualification, extra qualification, hobbies, salary expected, and references. Now full name we have to write in capital letters. Father's name should be written in sentence case or normal capital letters also you can use. Date of birth, if they ask you date of birth, you have to write date of birth. If they ask you age, you have to write the age. Sex, male or female, you have to write. Marital status, two ways you can write: married, unmarried. Then address, you have to write full address without writing your name or your father's name. Only the address means you have to start with your door number, street, colony or whatever the place, town, city, those things only. Now in education qualification, remember this important information: education qualification, whichever education qualification you are going to furnish in this resume, you have to write in reverse chronology. What is this reverse chronology? That means the highest qualification you will write first, and then next the qualification. Maximum you need to write the post graduation first and then graduation next. So it is called reverse chronology. We should write from the highest qualification to the lowest qualification. Extra qualification, if it is given, you can write extra qualification. Hobbies also, according to the job mentioned, you have to specify the hobbies. Don't forget to write salary expected. And references, in exam point of view, if they ask you a references, if option comes employees who are already working in the organization, you should select that option, because reference means whenever we are going to apply for any job, the reference is given those people who are already working in that organization, so that they can select the candidates. So this is about the covering letter and the resume or CV or biodata of job application. So primarily job application is meant for applying for a job, so that they can filter the candidates with the help of the job application. And job application is divided into two parts: covering letter and resume. And this is the format of the covering letter. and this is the format of the resume or curriculum vitae or biodata, whichever they ask, whether they may ask resume, curriculum vitae, biodata, we'll go with this kind of format of writing. There may be contemporary formats, students may use different ways of writing resume, that is also correct. And what is the method 2 is? Method 2 is a single letter. There will be no separate attachment, they will write one single letter with a covering letter as well as the information, all this information they will write in a single paragraph and they will apply for the said post. So this is one of the writing abilities for class 12 students, and that name is job application. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
So if we will put our qualification in reverse chronological order, so then where should we put the B.Ed, sir?
Okay, it can be extra qualification or professional qualification. See, B.Ed is a professional course.
Okay. Yes, sir.
B.Ed is a professional
That
course.
means, okay, sir.
So you can mention under extra qualification.
Okay, sir.
Others,
Sir, can you give us a sample how to make a standard CV? A sample.
for 12th class students, correct, you are asking, or in general you are asking?
Suppose, sir, I am applying for PGT post for anywhere else in my Assam or West Bengal. So I need a proper CV. Sir, I have it, but I am not satisfied with what I have given in it. So can you please give and suggest a sample for it?
Right, no problem. I'll do it because somewhere I have stored my CV when I used to work in private sector and when I used to apply, but I had to search for that. It was a very elaborative, lengthy resume. I used to prepare 4 pages or 5 pages resume I used to send to schools and colleges. I'll find out. It may not be in this system, that may be found in my old system. I have to search for that. If I get it, I'll forward that.
Oh, okay, no problem, sir.
Right. Any other questions with related to job application? Sharmila.
The resume, CV and biodata, that 3 are same or different?
Resume is the American word. CV is the British word. Curriculum vitae is a British word. Biodata, it is not a word at all. We have Indians made this word called biodata. There is no biodata. Bio means life, data means information. So life's information we have Indianized, Indian standard of this word. So it's actually resume is the American word and curriculum vitae is the British word.
Okay, sir.
So, how hobbies can be differentiated from interest?
What, Kabir?
So, interest, how interest is different from my hobbies?
Okay, so if you have to write interest and hobbies, correct, that you are asking in this resume.
Yes.
Right. Hobbies you have acquired since your childhood. Okay. Do you like music, Kabir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. So maybe during childhood we used to listen to songs, we used to spend time watching movies, all those things. But now at this age, even though you have a hobby of listening to music, watching movies or watching TV, but your interest is changed, correct?
Yes.
Priorities, we call it as a priority. Our priorities will change. So interest, you are interested to do some work, but hobbies will remain throughout your life. Which whatever is your hobby in the childhood, it will remain permanent. Interest can be changed. You can write interest in teaching. Okay, is anybody's hobby is teaching here?
Yes, certainly.
No, I am asking you whether is teaching is a hobby. Are you interested in teaching?
I think, sir, I am interested in teaching, but it is long lasting. Since, I like the profession. I love the.
Okay, you are interested in teaching.
Yes.
I'll tell you the difference. My hobby was speaking. I like speaking a lot during school days and college days. That was my hobby. Why it was my hobby? Because I'm a single child, so I don't have brothers, sisters, nobody was at home. So I like to interact with people, so I like to speak. So that developed into my hobby. So I like to speak to people, but right people, not with wrong people. So it is one of my hobbies. I spend time to talk to people every day. So that is my hobby. But when you talk to students, is it a hobby, Kabir?
No, sir.
Not hobby. So interest is you are interested in teaching profession or you are interested in teaching field, but your hobby may not be teaching. Your hobby may be different. My hobby was talking to people, interacting with people. That was my hobby. I like to talk to people. I like to interact with people, interesting people, all those things. That was my hobby. But what I did, I converted my hobby into my profession. So I never feel like I am working. But interest is different. What is your interest today may not be interesting for you tomorrow. So you have to mention interest professionally. Whatever is your interest, you have to show that I am interested in computers, so that they will appoint you as a teacher but give you work to on computer also. So that is the difference between, basic difference between interest and hobbies.
Yes, got it.
Right.
Match explained.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, sir.
No, one as Kabir asked, I could remember during our childhood, haven't you ever played the role of teacher?
Yes, sir, I have felt.
I have.
We all played, right? Taking stick
Yes,
into the
yes, sir.
taking stick into the hands, controlling our friends, and behaving like the teacher who behaved in our class. Very bad teachers, only examples for us. And we will ask them
Yes,
to
sir.
write imposition. We'll give punishments to them. So all those bad teachers are examples for us to become teachers. Okay, right, fine. Okay, jokes apart. Any other questions with this job application?
No, sir.
Right. So now, writing ability. Let us move to the next point. Right.
Sir, excuse me.
Deepthi, tell me.
Sir, the last day answer key I have found lot of mistakes
Which
in
one?
the answer. The previous day
Hmm.
answer key of the weekly test. Yeah.
Did you note what are the mistakes in the answers?
Yes, sir.
You send me that, ma'am. Corrected one you send me. I'll recheck once. Right. In classroom also, girls are very particular about marks. Okay, so boys will not worry about marks and all those things, but girls are very particular. Even for 1 mark also, they will not leave me. They'll say, "Sir, this is wrong. That is mistake, sir." Okay, ma'am. So you are reliving your childhood. Enjoy. Okay, you send me. I'll recheck, and then if there is any corrections required, I'll do that. Okay. So shall we go ahead with the literary figures?
Okay, sir.
Right. See, at the outset, I would like to tell you one thing. All these people known to every literature student, and these are not people from Greek literature or Latin literature. Only thing is, as I completed periods of literature from Old English period to the Renaissance or this Puritan interregnum, and the history of those days and the literary terms, then what I am going to do is I am going to mix all these 3 topics with a new topic called writers or literary figures. So whenever we discuss a particular literary figure like Geoffrey Chaucer or Edmund Spenser or Milton, you should recall all the topics related with that particular individual. So this is a technique you have to follow. That means when the moment you come across one writer, you should know the historical period of that writer. You should know who are the rulers during that period, what kind of literature flourished during that age, to which age that writer belongs to, and what kind of literary works the writer produced, and who are the contemporaries, and what is the criticism he received by the fellow writers or the next age writers, and most importantly, who are the contemporaries. Because mostly these literary figures who are very popular, very famous, everybody is aware about their history, their life, their works. But if we get a question on the minor writers, minor prose writers or minor poets of the same age, we get confused and there we lose the marks. So this is the class where I will explain less, I will be asking more questions and you have to answer to the questions. Are you all ready?
Yes, sir.
Right. So don't worry. If you don't answer the question also no problem, but you need to participate because I am going to combine 3-4 topics together so that it will be useful for you. Okay. Because in exams they can ask directly a writer, author, and they may give you a work or they may ask you which period. So all those things we are going to combine now. Right. So Geoffrey Chaucer, he is known as father of English literature. Who is father of English literature? Geoffrey Chaucer. You know any other father of English literature? Then tell me. Any other person you know as a father of English literature?
So different genre, father of different genres are there.
Father of?
For different genre,
Different genre is there, but what about the father of English literature? Is it Geoffrey Chaucer and any other person who is known as father of English literature?
Geoffrey Chaucer itself.
Right. So Geoffrey Chaucer, without any doubt, is the father of English literature. So in an exam, if you get a question, who is the father of English literature, then your answer must be Geoffrey Chaucer. Okay. Why was he known as father of English literature? Why can't other people can be branded as father of English literature? Because before Chaucer there was no great poetry or there was no great literature, and after Chaucer also for more than 150 years there was no great literature produced by the followers or successors of Chaucer. So to which age Chaucer belongs to?
Middle English, sir.
Which age?
14th century.
No, he belongs to age of Chaucer only, correct? Huh? What is his age? His age of Chaucer or not?
Yes, sir, the age of Chaucer,
Right.
sir,
And in
1340 to 1400.
right. To which period he belongs to?
Middle English.
Middle English period, sir.
Okay. Middle English or medieval English?
Medieval English.
Medieval English.
Then which period? Middle period or medieval period?
So medieval period.
Medieval period.
So both medieval English and medieval period are correct?
I am in confusion, sir.
These kind of questions only confuses in exams. I am asking about the age, I am asking about the period. Chaucer belongs to age of Chaucer. Okay. And he belongs to one particular period. What is that period? Middle English period or medieval English period?
So medieval English period.
Medieval English
Medieval
period.
English period, right. So before Chaucer, which age was there? Which period?
Old English.
Anglo-Saxon period.
Anglo-Saxon period was also known as Old English period. And there was a very famous literary work of art published in Old English period, that is Beowulf. So before Chaucer there was no notable writer, author in English literature. So Chaucer is regarded as the father of English literature, and Chaucer belongs to 14th century AD, and he is the first poet in English literature. There may be so many poets in the English literature before Chaucer, but he was regarded or respected as the first poet in English literature. So he is the first poet in English literature and he is the father of English literature. But as well as he has a criticism by others that he is the prince of plagiarists. What is this prince of plagiarists? That means he used to copy other works. He used to borrow the themes and ideas from Latin, Greek and Roman and writes in a spectacular way, please the audience, but he claims those topics are their ideas as own. So its criticism about Geoffrey Chaucer is he is known as the prince of plagiarist, and he has introduced heroic couplet. So what is heroic couplet? Quick.
Two lines rhymes each other. Two lines poem.
Right. So Chaucer introduced heroic couplet, And who has used it extensively?
Alexander Pope.
Alexander Pope. In which book he has used this in a very spectacular way and a popular book?
Of the law.
The Rape of the
Lock.
Okay, who is the major, or who are the major characters in Alexander Pope's Rape of the Lock?
Belinda.
Ariel.
Belinda, correct?
Yes, sir.
What is the story of the Rape of the Lock?
Cutting of hair.
Cutting of hair. Is it an epic or a mock epic?
Mock epic.
Mock epic.
What is meant by mock epic?
So when matter and
Where matters and manner
mismatches. So.
Alright, good. Okay, then he is famous for the Canterbury Tales. He had also written the Book of Duchess, also known as the Death of Blanche, and Trilous and Cresside. It is a source of tragedy to Shakespeare. Okay, this Trilous and Cresside is a source of tragedy for Shakespeare's play. And then somebody said about him, Chaucer found English as dialect and left it as language by lawyer. This much only I know. Who is this lawyer? Who find out afterwards. So lawyer said about Chaucer that Chaucer found English as dialect and left it as a language. We need to know about this kind of criticism or remarks in English literature, so that if they give you this sentence and if they tell you to find out who had spoken for Chaucer, then you should be in a position to identify who is the person who said. Then Coleridge said that the well of English undefined. Who is this well of English undefined? Geoffrey Chaucer. And then we have the story of Canterbury Tales that was already explained to you. So I'll just read out the information which I have written on the board. So the Canterbury Tales is a collection of 24 stories that runs over 17,000 lines, written in Middle English by Geoffrey Chaucer between 1387 and 1400. And they started the journey from London to shrine of St. Thomas Becket at Canterbury Cathedral. There were 30 people, 29 pilgrims, and including narrator 30 people. And the host of the tabard inn motivated them to narrate 2 stories during onward journey and 2 stories towards the onward journey. So they Chaucer planned actually to complete 120 stories, but he could only write 24 tales or stories. Chaucer wanted to portray the society in exact manner in his Canterbury Tales. So by reading Canterbury Tales, you will come to know the exact society, nature of the society, people of that particular age, customs, traditions, culture of that particular age with the help of the Canterbury Tales. So literature is actually a kind of record of events, incidents, characters, personalities of that age. The book or the literary work which exactly represents the age of that particular character of that particular age is known as the best book for that age. So there are so many characters here. So this is about the knight, first character, wife of Bath. Many are interested in this wife of Bath only. I suppose Diksha or somebody asked why it is named as Bath, why the name of the town is given to her. That was already explained. And the pardoner, the miller, the prioress, the monk. I shared one video with you all. Did you all watch that video and prologue to Canterbury Tales? Characters. Did you all watch?
No, sir, I didn't.
You have to watch that video so that each and every character has been explained, described using pictures also. And then prologue, introduction to the important, we have to read the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. Now up to here it is about Chaucer. Then there are few people who are contemporaries to Chaucer. Chaucer is the greatest personality of the age, but there are few more people who are contemporaries to Chaucer, equally important but not as great as Geoffrey Chaucer. One is William Longland. He has written Piers Plowman. Okay, it is about the village or countryside drama, Piers Plowman, written by William Longland. And then John Grover has written Confessio Amentis, and Thomas Morley had written Le Morte Arthur. It is about the Arthurian legends. I suppose somebody asked me a question whether the author is a fictional character or historical figure or fictional figure. It is history as well as mixture of fiction. So Arthurian legends was the old tales narrated orally from generation to generation about a mystical king, ruler of the England. And then after Chaucer, there are so many people who imitated Chaucer. They are known as Scottish Chaucerians, and among them these are the famous people: King James I of Scotland, Robert Henryson, and William Dunbar, and Gavin Douglas. Can anybody quickly tell me who is this King James of Scotland? Jacobean?
That same person who ruled after Elizabeth I.
James.
Authorized version of the Bible.
No, I am asking whether he is a Jacobean or a Cavalier.
The Jacobean.
Jacobean, sir.
Jacobean. So James is known as Jacobean in which language?
French.
You have to tell me, because that day I told you,
Scottish.
In Latin.
because he is known as Jacobean, that's why it is known as, it is written as a Jacobean age instead of James age. But in which language he is known as Jacobean? You find out that information, you give me afterwards. So King James I,
Latin. In Latin, sir.
I don't know, you have to tell me, find out and you
Okay,
give me
sir.
information. Okay, that day I might have told you. You have, if you have not remember, read your notes back and you find out. So these are the Scottish Chaucerians. So Geoffrey Chaucer belongs to Middle English period, and he was known as father of English literature. He is also known as poet's poet, and he had contributed to the English literature one of the greatest work of art, the Canterbury Tales. And there are few more writers who are also equally important, are contemporaries of Geoffrey Chaucer. They are William Longland, John Gower, Thomas Marlowe. After Chaucer, what happened? There was a decline in literary work of art. There was no great literary work of art produced. So what is the period after Chaucer is known as? Can anybody tell me what is the next 150 years is known as?
Age of transition.
So what happened during that age of transition, Preeti?
Sir, it is before the Elizabethan age. I think the Renaissance, maybe, sir.
Let us understand. Chaucer comes in the Middle English period. Okay. After Anglo-Norman period, Chaucer comes. Am I correct? Anglo-Saxon period, Anglo-Norman period, age of Chaucer, then transition period. Then who comes after age of Chaucer?
Spencer.
Literary figures, okay, Edmund Spencer is the one, literary figures. But I am asking here, King James I of Scotland, when did he come? When did he follow Chaucer? What is the age? What is the period of King James I? 1600? Jacobean period I am asking.
1603.
1603 to 1625.
This is the Jacobean period. So during Jacobean period they try to imitate Chaucer. Whether they could produce great work of art?
No, sir.
So these King James I belong to transition period or the Jacobean period?
Jacobean period.
Jacobean period. So what I am trying to do is I am trying to mix all the information which you have learnt, and now you have to process and you have to apply that information. Yes.
Sir, this is not the King James one after Elizabeth.
Then
This is another one.
who is this king?
That one is James VI of Scotland. He became the James I of England. This is James I. Stuart period was started after the even before, I think Stuart period is not there. Tudor period only.
No, my question, Deepthi, is this King James I of Scotland is the same one who came in Jacobean period?
I don't think so, sir.
You have
Because
to-
James of Scotland becomes the James I of England.
Open your periods of English literature and find out. All of you open your periods of English literature notes and find out who is this James I. Searching for the information? Diksha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Find out. To which age these Scottish Chaucerins belong to? That was my actual question or original question. Dipti found answer? Dipti ma'am.
No, sir.
If you refer to the old notes which I have given, the word Jacobus is a Latin word, means James. So his name James equals to Jacob, James Jacoba. Then King James I is the one who came in between 1603 to 1625, and he has published the authorized version of Bible, James I version of the Bible, authorized version of the Bible in 1611. So whether this Scottish Chaucerin King James I is the same James I of Jacobean age? That was my question.
No, sir. Because that the age is different, sir. 200 years difference. In Jacobean age, King James I of England only. And James VI of Scotland. So both are different.
Both are different?
Yes, sir.
So in case if you get these kind of questions, is it easy for you to answer or very difficult for you to answer?
Little bit difficult.
Right. But once you complete the entire history of literature, then writers and the syllabus, then you have to do this same technique only. Whenever you come across any person in the notes, you should know the age, the background, the history, the poetic works, the literary figures, contemporary works, all those things if you know, then you will gain confidence. So this kind of information you should learn, or you will learn only after completion of syllabus. You will assimilate all the information, different areas you will join together, and then your brain has to store information in this fashion. Okay, so this King James I of Scotland may not be the Jacobean James I. So let us see, you all find out. Still I give time. Who are these Scottish Chaucerins? What are the details of this Scottish Chaucerins? Simple questions will be like this. They will give you 4 names. They will tell you identify the wrong one. So they will give one different name, and out of these 4 names you have to find out. That is a simple question. But in competitive examination, they may not ask you that kind of a simple question. Though they may ask you, but not all questions will be simple. So if they ask you a question like King James I of Scotland is the same king of James I in Jacobean period.
This King James I think he never ruled England, because Jacobean period means Stuart's period. They ruled after Elizabeth only. Before that, Tudor period was there. From Henry to Elizabeth's father Henry VII, he was the one behind the Reformation and all. And then Mary, then Elizabeth, then came this Jacob I. That is, the Stuart period starts in 1603. So this is only the King James I of Scotland, I think. I have no clear idea about it.
Ask your questions. If you think, then only you will read. If I give you exact information, you will not search for the information. So if I give you half of information, then to satisfy your hunger for information, you will read. Any other questions? Any other questions?
So,
Ask.
Geoffrey Chaucer is said to be the well of English undefined by quality. So what does it mean, sir? The well of English undefined?
That means he has so vast knowledge in English that nobody can understand, but he has produced the greatest work or work of arts.
Yes. Got it.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Right. So this was a technique used by our tutor when we used to prepare. He used to leave us in blank. He used to leave us in confusion, so that we'll search for information. We'll try to find out whether the information is right or wrong. Otherwise, if it is wrong, then what is the right information? Always try to find. If you don't find the right information, if you have found the wrong information, you should search for the right information. Then only you will learn so many things, because finding a mistake is easy, but finding the right information, it will take lots and lots of time and energy. Okay. Deepti ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir.
1660 to 1700 is the restoration period, correct? 1660 to 1700 is the restoration period. 1700 to 1745 is the Augustine period. Then 1745 to 1785 is the age of sensibility. 1785 to 1832 the romantic period. Okay, so 1660 to 1785 is also known as neoclassical period. Are you there, Deepti?
Yeah, yes.
Right. But we are here, we have so far completed only up to Commonwealth period. Okay, we'll start that in the next classes, but let us first complete these literary figures and literary terms and all those things information. So shall I continue with this confusion? You need to find out who is this King James I of Scotland, who is the Scottish Chaucerian, what is his history, what is his background. You have to find out and you tell me in the next class. But he is known as one of the Scottish Chaucerians. Okay, definitely he will come after Chaucer only. Okay, next one is Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser had written one of the greatest or great literary work of art is Fairy Queen. It is written in Spenserian stanza. He is known as poet's poet. Who is known as first poet, Kabir?
Chaucer, sir. Geoffrey Chaucer.
Right. Who is known as poet's poet?
Edmund Spenser.
So first poet is Chaucer and poet's poet is Edmund Spenser.
Spenser.
Right. And it is called, who called Edmund Spenser as the poet's poet? It is Charles Lamb. Charles Lamb called Edmund Spenser as the poet's poet, and is also known as the child of Renaissance and Reformation, and it is also said by Charles Lamb for Edmund Spenser. And then what is this actually Fairy Queen is? It is also known as English Christian humanistic epic. He wanted to write in epic fashion, in epic manner, epic style, but he couldn't complete all the books. It's 24 books or 12 books. Spenser thought of writing in Fairy Queen? 24 or 12?
12.
He originally planned to write 12 books, Fairy Queen, but how many books he could complete writing?
6 books.
6 books.
Only
Only 6. Why he couldn't complete writing the remaining 6 books? What happened to him? He was sent to Ireland to work in King's office. I don't remember the exact nomenclature of his job. When he was in Ireland, he completed the first 6 books and he was writing 7th book also. But what happened, this Irish revolutionaries or revolutionary people, they have attacked Edmund Spencer's home and he barely escaped with his family, and those rebels burnt the Edmund Spencer's 7th book. He had started writing the 7th book also, and he had completed 6 books. Already we discussed holiness, temperance, chastity, friendship, justice and courtesy. Red Cross Knight in book 1 represents holiness. Lady Una represents religion. Knight's Lady, she is also found in book 1. Then Sir Gunan is a temperance, book 2. Britmus is Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth or his lady lover Elizabeth. Which Elizabeth is this?
Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth.
Find out again. Who is this Elizabeth in Brit Martis? Whether his wife Elizabeth Boyle or the Queen Elizabeth? Give me sure answer. Which Elizabeth is this? Queen Elizabeth?
Queen Elizabeth.
Alright. So chastity she represents, and it is in book 3. And then Campbell and Trimore, it represents friendship in book 4. Sir Artigal is justice, book 5. Sir Calidore courtesy, book 6. Now tell me, in Fairy Queen, who is the hero?
King Arthur.
King Arthur. Okay. But all these characters represents different virtues, but actually the hero of Fairy Queen is King Edward. Arthur or Edward, sorry. Who is the hero?
Arthur.
Arthur.
King Arthur. Okay. And then he had written few more works. Astrophel, it is an elegy he had written to mourn or commemorate the death of Sir Philip Sidney. Who is this Philip Sidney?
Sidney, poet.
Okay. Which age?
One of the best sonnet writers.
Which age does he belong to?
Elizabethan age?
Elizabethan age?
Two in the.
But Edmund Spencer comes in Elizabethan age, or which age? Edmund Spencer.
So it comes in Elizabethan.
Right, Elizabethan age. Right. So who?
Sir, one thing, sir, I found about James I.
Tell me.
So actually, James I is he's completely different person from that James VI of Scotland. So he was a poet in Chaucer period, during Chaucer, after Chaucer. He remained in England till 1424. Chaucerian period ends in 1400. After that, sir, this James I arrived in England, and there he married John Beaufort, the cousin of Henry V. This much information I have got. That means I can, with confidence, I can say that this person is completely different from that James VI, sir.
That's what I said, sir. Because James, actually, the name of that king is come only in the 1603 period. From 1603, because before that there is no James. All these James related to Stuart period. Only from 1603 Stuart period starts. That's why I said it was.
He was just a poet, sir.
Okay, right. Then Deepthi ma'am, what is the difference between Jacobean period and Stuart period?
Actually, Jacobean period means Stuart's period only. Jacobeans are all Stuarts. Even the Charles also is a Stuart. Okay. They were Catholics actually. They were believing in Catholicism, not the Protestants. These Tudors were Protestants. Actually, Henry VIII, when he was the one behind the Reformation. Reformation means Protestant was become prominent in the England. Then Catholicism, they were against Catholics because of the Henry VIII was not the Catholic. I mean the Pope of that time, Rome was controlling the Catholics. So Henry VIII was not allowed to marry again. If there is one wife, they were not allowed to marry again. I don't remember the name of Henry VIII's wife. She was famous, Catherine or something else. There were extension of that name is there, and that time Henry VIII declared that Rome can't control England, and he made England's own religion. That is this Protestant religion. There comes the Protestant religion, and but later he married another woman. Though he married, I think 4 times he married, I think, but he never, only male child can rule the country, but he got a
Deepthi ma'am, you are not audible. Can you hear her, Diksha?
then later,
no, sir.
but he was not that much strong. He only, I told you, yes. Is there any, hello?
Yes, we could hear you, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
Yes, we could hear you. Continue.
Then that divorced woman's daughter, she was actually Catholic. She married after that James VIII's son. He was very pale and weak. That's why he ruled only 7 years. After that, Mary ruled. Bloody Mary. She's known as Bloody Mary because she killed Protestants, lot of Protestants that time. Then comes Elizabeth, but Elizabeth was very smart. She controlled both. She allowed Protestant to privately worship, and she at the same time religious moderation was there. That's why she controlled the country and beautifully ruled the country. After the Elizabeth, she had no heirs. That's why her cousin was James I. She called him from Scotland. He was the 6th of Scotland. Then he come to England. He becomes the James I of England. Then comes the Stuart period. But this parliament was against Stuart later because of the James I's declaration of that he is only the one to answerable to God only, like that. He I don't remember the word. Then he become he was the one controlling everyone. Then parliament was against him, and at last they throw these Stuarts. Even after the restoration also, the Stuarts are the Charles also believe in come under the Stuarts, and then Charles. I think Charles II in 1660 restoration period from 1685, I think Charles I ruled. Charles II ruled. Then the exiled one come back and he ruled. And after that James II again ruled. And then Mary also ruled. Mary and then the James II's period, the problem arised, and something happened at that time. I don't remember the exact name.
Deepthi ma'am?
And then they called Mary after her husband, William of Orange. He was also ruled. After then the Tudor period again come. From that Stuart period, actually, that is why we in the middle of that Jacobin rebellion happened in the time of age of Pope or like that. Jacobin rebellion was there because they want to come back to that reign, that throne. They want the throne back, but they didn't get. Then again, the Tudor England was under the Protestants. And till the Elizabeth, I think they were Protestants. In between, something happened. I don't remember, sir.
Good, ma'am. You have a lot of information. Okay, you have read the history of English literature, correct? Completely.
Actually, sir, I have read almost all the histories. Rutledge's history is best. I think Rutledge is best, sir.
Which one, ma'am?
I found it best. Then I had read David Dacius also best, but most clear information giving us Rutledge.
Right. Okay, good.
Yes.
So King James I of Scotland is not the James I of the Jacobean period. So is clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, sir. Fine. See, in discussion we will come to know so many things. Doubts can be clarified through discussion, and if you have information, then we can debate, you can argue with your classmates in the sense your batchmates or whoever are in the classroom. So let us go ahead. You will also read and you will also speak like Deepthi ma'am if you also thoroughly prepared for exams. Okay. So Deepthi ma'am,
Yes, sir.
please continue this kind of extensive reading and extensive preparation. No, you have to keep that information in your mind. You need to continuously you have to read. You have read lot of books, and you will continue, ma'am, till you clear the exams, till you become a government teacher. Don't stop reading.
There is no use, sir.
Why?
I don't know.
What happened?
I'm putting here.
Deepthi ma'am.
Net issue. That's all. Okay, sir.
Okay, let us continue.
Yes, sir.
No, nothing, ma'am. Let us continue. Okay. Now here it is Astrophel. It's an elegy written by Sir Philip Sidney. So Sir Philip Sidney is also a contemporary writer of Edmund Spenser, and he had written Amaroti, I suppose, R-T-O-T-T-I, not Amatoti. It's Amaroti. He had written for his Elizabeth Boyle. Who is this Elizabeth?
His lover.
Beloved.
So when Edmund Spenser moved to the country, I mean like village or nearby that places, he wanted to fall in love, to experience love. He had fallen with so many women, but finally he had really fallen to Elizabeth Boyle, and he had written this Amaroti, A-M-O, here the spelling, A-M-O-R-E-T-T-I, Amaroti to Elizabeth Boyle. And then he had written this one, E-P-I-T-H-A-L-A-M-I-N. How do we pronounce this one? When I listened to the pronunciation, I was also laughing. It's generally we pronounce epithalmian, okay, but the pronunciation is different. But at least remember this one. Epithalmian means it's an ode written by Edmund Spenser to his bride Elizabeth Boyle on their wedding day in 1594. Don't ask me whether your future husband or your already husband has written this kind of odes to you or not, and that may not be possible, but he is a writer. So to please this woman Elizabeth Boyle, he wrote this ode, like people like love letters to impress others. He also had written ode, elegies, all those things, because he is a writer. So Epithalmian is an ode written by Edmund Spenser to his bride Elizabeth Boyle on their wedding day in 1594. So Epithalmian is it's a marriage with Elizabeth Boyle. Then Prothalmian. The Prothalmian is about a marriage also, but not for his marriage. It is about the rich family's marriage. So Prothalmian are a spousal words in honor of the double marriages of Lady Elizabeth and Lady Catherine Somerset. So we don't know what is this double marriage, but it is about rich families' marriage or aristocratic female marriages are discussed in Prothalmian. Then what is the main difference between Epithalmian and Prothalmian is, the main difference between Epithalmian and Prothalmian is that Epithalmian is a marriage celebrating poem, whereas a Prothalmian is an engagement celebrating poem. So this idiot has written poems for each and every celebration. The term Epithalmian connotes the meaning that a song celebrating a marriage, while the term Prothalmian is a Spenserian coinage. Although both the poems celebrate a union between two people, Prothalmian takes a more personal approach. So for examination point of view, Epithalmian is a word written by Edmund Spenser for his wife Elizabeth Boyle, and Prothalmian is the discussed marriages about rich people. Okay. Then few more important things is he had written 12 pastoral poems, one for each month, and this one he called Spenser, Charles Lamb called Spenser poet's poet and the child of Renaissance. Okay, so this is the brief introduction about Edmund Spenser, and the contemporaries are Thomas Sacheverell, The Mirror for Magistrates, and Sir Philip Sidney, Arcada. So this is the Sidney. Here is the Philip Sidney. He has written Arcadia. Philip Sidney is more like a bureaucrat than a writer. So this one, who is this? Edmund Spenser had written an elegy, Astrophel, to commemorate the death or to mourn the death of Sir Philip Sidney. So this is about Edmund Spenser. Now questions from my side. To which age Edmund Spenser belonged to?
Elizabethan age.
Elizabethan age.
Okay, so who is this Elizabeth?
So first
Queen Elizabeth.
England, sir.
England.
Queen Elizabeth. She is also known as Virgin Queen. Why the woman became Queen of England or King of England? Why the woman Elizabeth became the Queen of England or King of England, whatever you call? No male successors were there. Why she became the Queen of England?
Maybe there was no male heir to the throne.
Find out. Where is Deepti? Deepti ma'am? No, my question is simple.
Yes,
Can you hear me, Deepti?
sir.
The question is why Elizabeth became the Queen of England. Were there no male kings, no male people?
No male was there
Why? What happened?
because her father Henry VIII had only one son. That was died. After that, her sister ruled the country. Then it come to Elizabeth.
So before Elizabeth also there were female rulers.
Yeah, before her sister also ruled.
I think that was her name. I think
Danny ma'am, tell me.
Mary Tudor was her sister's name. I think I'm not sure.
Okay,
yes,
my
Mary Tudor.
my question is simple. Why Elizabeth became Queen of England? Because there were no male heirs or male legal heirs for the kingdom. Then whether Elizabeth Queen Elizabeth was the first female ruler for England, yes or no?
No, not Elizabeth. Mary was the first people.
Correct. But these are the popular or famous personalities, so that's why these ages are named with their names. Otherwise, there are so many other people who are also equally popular, equally ruled, but they are not popular. That's why the periods of English literature has been divided based upon the rulers. In between, you will get so many information, so many people coming and going. So it is also easy, it is also good if you remember those people also, so that you will read the history in a correct sequence, and you will also understand the literary works of art and these literary figures and the history of this literary. So all we have to combine and we have to study. Okay, so this is about Edmund Spenser. Shall we go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Is it becoming little difficult?
No, sir, it's not difficult actually, but I can see that I have all the materials, I have the book, but I haven't read, sir.
Right. You will all read hereafter, because once you have experienced the performance, felt the performance in the monthly test, you all have realized what kind of questions and what kind of preparation you required. So let us go ahead with the next literary figure. I will not take much. This Christopher Marlowe, Ben Jonson and John Milton only will discuss today, and then I will leave you. You can read about these, and if there is any confusion, you should find answer then and there, and try to match the information with the periods, writers, works, all those things. Okay. One second, what happened to this? Alright, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So next one is Christopher Marlowe. Christopher Marlowe is a famous figure who has created anti-hero. Anti-hero means he is an adventurous hero, and he is also known as leader of university wits. So who is this university wits? During Shakespeare, during Elizabethan period, people who studied in Oxford and Cambridge, they are known as university wits, and out of them Christopher Marlowe is a prominent figure, or he is known as the leader of the university wits. Can anybody tell me who are the other university wits? Names?
Robert Greene, Thomas Nashe, John Dewey, and Thomas Kidd also
Hmm.
was there, I think.
Right. And he has written, Christopher Marlowe had written The Jew of Malta, Edward II, and Tamburlaine. Tamburlaine has become source of information or inspiration for somebody for some work. Can anybody tell me? Tamburlaine. Has it become any source of inspiration for anybody?
Is it Shakespeare, sir?
For which work? Find out. Okay. So this one, Tamburlaine, is it become an inspiration or source of information for any other work in literature or not? You find out. And then he had written Dr. Faustus. It's a very popular one. And then Hero and Leander. It is unfinished work. Later Chapman finished this Hero and Leander. And Shakespeare remembered Marlowe as the dead shepherd in As You Like It. So Shakespeare also gave regard and respect to Christopher Marlowe. So that means Christopher Marlowe is contemporary of Shakespeare. Diksha?
Yes, sir.
Christopher Marlowe, Shakespeare are contemporaries.
Yes, sir.
What about Ben Jonson? Is Ben Jonson contemporary of Shakespeare?
Yes, sir.
Is Ben Jonson contemporary of Christopher Marlowe? Others? Find out. Whether
No, sir. I think Ben Jonson mainly for Jacobean age. He's contemporary, but most of the writing parts, his famous writing parts are in Jacobean age.
okay, so he is not a contemporary of Shakespeare.
He's a contemporary, sir.
He's contemporary of Shakespeare, sir.
Contemporary, but most of his famous works are in Jacobean age.
Okay, if the question comes in exam, Ben Jonson is a contemporary of Shakespeare, whether it is right or wrong?
Right.
Okay, right. Now let us go to the next person, who is Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson became literary dictator after Shakespeare. And what is the speciality of Ben Jonson? Can you tell me whether he tried to follow the Shakespearean way of drama or the classic form of drama? Which one he practiced?
This classic form of drama, probably Aristotle's plots he is following.
Right. So he tried to show, or he tries to make the drama to the classical standards, and he is known as comedy of humors. In his induction to Every Man is Humor, he has protended, or he has put forward the comedy of humor. So what is comedy of humors? What is comedy of humors?
According to the
One of
humor.
his works, comedy of comedy of humor.
What is comedy of humor? There is comedy of manners is there, comedy of humors is there. So many varieties of comedy we discussed. So what is
So
this?
make fun of the ritual or some social. So I'm not getting that word. Tradition.
I think manner.
What is manner? What is manner? What is this comedy of manners chiefly deals?
Aristocratic culture is maybe.
Open your books. Go back to your books, notes. What is this comedy of manners? What is the difference between comedy of manners and restoration comedy? Both are same? And which,
No, sir. No, sir. In restoration comedy, there is double meaning.
So how the comedy produced, how the humor generated in Comedy of Humors by Ben Jonson? What are the four fluids? Forgotten?
Blood, phlegm, choler, and melancholy.
So what is the temperance or mixture? What is that word?
Theological.
No, there is one word given to you that day. What is that? Mixture or temperance?
Mixture, sir.
There is one more word. No combination. They have given one word. It starts with T. Is comedy of humors? How the humor generates because of the disbalance of these four fluids creates humor, and he started following the classical form of drama. Okay, you go back and you study whenever you, after completion of class, you try to study whatever we have completed, so that you will get at least an understanding about a writer, the age, the literary forms, and all those things. So you will take time, don't worry, but this is the way I can make you to read, otherwise you will not read. If you listen to me for 1 hour 2 hours, you will listen only, but you will not search for the information, you will not read. So I will make this kind of classes confusing hereafter, so that you will search for the information and you will come out with the proper information. So let me just go with Ben Jonson. He is also known as Benjamin Johnson. 11th June 1572 and died on 16th August 1637, was an English playwright and poet. Johnson's artistry exerted a lasting influence upon English poetry and stage comedy. He popularized the comedy of humors. So Ben Jonson means immediately it should strike comedy of humors. What is comedy of humors? It is about the four fluids, and the imbalance between the fluids creates humor. Characters, they portray and they become eccentric because of the imbalance of these four fluids. He is best known for the satirical plays Every Man in His Humor, Walpole or the Fox, The Alchemist, and the Bartholomew Fair, and for his lyric and epigrammatic poetry. He is generally regarded as the second most important English dramatist after William Shakespeare during the reigns of James I. So again this James I came. So who is this James I? Jacobean king?
Stuart King and the poet, sir.
He is not the Jacobean? It's clearly given, no? It is after William Shakespeare during the reigns of James I. So it is the ruler. He is the ruler of England, James I. That may be the poet. Scottish Chaucer in James I may be different from this James I. Okay. And then Marlowe's mighty line. What is this Marlowe's mighty line?
Ben Jonson said about a blank verse.
What is blank verse? What is blank verse?
So when there is no rhyme and meter will be there, sir.
Okay, if there is rhyme and no meter, then what is that?
Free verse.
Free verse.
Free verse. Who is father of free verse?
Walt Whitman.
Walt Whitman. Okay, fine. Let us go ahead. And Ben Jonson commented on Shakespeare that he knew little Latin and less Greek. He is of not any age but for all time. So about Shakespeare, Ben Jonson commented. And he commented Marlowe's mighty line for Christopher Marlowe. And Ben Jonson is a very close friend of Shakespeare. So he is obviously the contemporary writer of Shakespeare. And is also known as mask writer. What is mask? What is mask?
It's performed in it's a short.
What is mask?
Mask
Done
is
at
actually
King's
performed.
Court.
It's kind of a play,
Wearing
sir.
mask.
No, what kind of play?
The characters wearing masks.
A sport for kings and queens. Mask is a sport of kings and queen. So who are the actors? Mature or amateur actors?
Amateur, sir.
Are you all recollecting? Are you all recollecting or regrouping your pages? Mask, did we complete?
Yes, sir, we have completed.
Right, fine. Okay. So he had written Every Man is Humor and Every Man Out of His Humor. So in which one Shakespeare acted? In which play he acted? Is it in Every Man is Humor or Every Man Out of His Humor? In which play Shakespeare acted? Which play, ma'am?
He acted. Shakespeare acted.
No, it's okay. In which play? Every Man in His Humor or Every Man Out of His Humor? Where Shakespeare acted?
Every Man in His Humor.
Find out. Is it Every Man in His Humor or Every Man Out of His Humor? In one he acted. Shakespeare acted.
In Every Man in His Humor.
In Every Man?
In his humor.
Find out. I am not going to give right answers. You have to find out. Okay. Then he had written poetaster. Heard about this word poetaster already? Somewhere you heard about this word?
Have heard but forgot, sir.
Recollect. Okay, fine. So here, what is this poetaster written by Ben Jonson? The play formed one element in the back and forth exchange between Johnson's and his rivals John Marston and Thomas Dekker in the so-called Petrarchian War of Theatre. So it is written by Ben Jonson. Remember these words because these are very minor, so we may forget, but these may all come in exams. Then The Devil is an Ass is also written by Ben Jonson. Then one more important one which has written by Ben Jonson, and because of that he had to face lot of criticism and lot of problems. In fact, he was imprisoned by his with his co-writers, and that one is Eastward Hall. Because of this play he was imprisoned. It hurt Scotland. So what is this? Eastward Ho is an early Jacobean era stage play written by George Chapman, Ben Jonson and John Marston. So there are three people, George Chapman, Ben Jonson and George Marston. What is this? Eastward Hall is a citizen or city comedy about Touchstone, a London goldsmith and his two apprentices, Quicksilver and Golding. The play is highly satirical about social customs in early modern London, and its anti-Scottish satire resulted in a notorious scandal in which King James was offended and the play's authors were imprisoned. So Ben Jonson was imprisoned after publishing this play, after enacting this play, Eastward Ho. Okay, remember these facts. Then if we combine Marlowe and Kidd, then it is tragedy. These both have written. Marlowe has written in any comedy. Marlowe has written. Diksha, Preeti, Deepti.
No, sir.
So Marlowe has written only tragedy, and Kidd has also written one very famous tragedy, which is also a source of information, inspiration for Shakespeare's Hamlet. So which is that?
Spanish tragedy.
Spanish tragedy.
What is this another name for the Spanish tragedy?
Hieronymo is mad.
Hieronyma is mad again. And then if we take Green and Lill, they are famous for comedy. Genre comedy is famous for Green and Lill. And other works written by Ben Jonson is The Alchemist, Atmosphere, Cynthia's Reveal, Epicene or The Silent Woman, Study Guide, Cynthia's Reveals, The Mask of Blackness and Walpole. And then there is one more group of people who are known as Sons of Ben. Like the Scottish Chaucerians, there are also people who are known as Sons of Ben, or they are also called as Tribe of Ben, poets who followed Ben Jonson. So can anybody tell me who are the poets who are considered as Sons of Ben or Tribe of Ben? Because we have the Scottish Chaucerians from Scotland, they followed Chaucer.
I think Cavalier poets are known as Sons of Ben.
All Cavalier poets?
Yeah.
Find out now. Others also find out who are those people who are known as Sons of Ben. Okay, or tribe, the Tribe of Ben. They followed Ben Jonson. And then epitaph. What is epitaph? Generally when people die in a tombstone, they'll write something. So that is epitaph. Lines written on the tombstone on or gravestone. So on Ben Jonson's gravestone, it is written, "Oh rare Ben Jonson." Very rarely they may ask you these kind of questions, but if it is better if you know what is also written on the tombstone of Ben Jonson. Can anybody remember what is being written on Keats' tombstone?
From Adoni, written in.
Find out.
His name written in something like that.
Find out.
Sir, again repeat the question.
What are the lines written on the tombstone or gravestone of Keats? And nobody told me how John Keats died, with what disease?
Tuberculosis, sir.
Tuberculosis.
It's also
Tuberculosis. There is one more word I told you. It starts with C. I'll play the audio.
Consumption.
What is that? Consumption. It is also a disease, especially pulmonary tuberculosis. Okay, because in exam, if they ask you the question, with what disease Keats died early, and if there is no tuberculosis, what will you do? It is consumption. CONSUMPTION, consumption. Okay. Now let us go with one more literary figure, John Milton. Milton English Grammar School. Heard about this Milton name since your childhood?
Yes.
So Milton is very famous. I too don't know why he has become so famous, because we also studied in English, what you call Milton Grammar English schools, and all those things were known to us during our childhood also. Only one thing we were known those days were, he was completely blind. But why did he become blind? Anybody? Why did John Milton become blind?
No idea, sir.
Find out. I'll leave with confusion. I'll leave so many questions unanswered so that you will read and you have to find out. He was not blind person in the beginning. Because of his extensive reading and writing under dim light and all those things made him to lose his vision. Okay, let us complete. It's already 7:30, so I don't want to waste unnecessary time. Let me complete John Milton. You might have read about John Milton, so let me just give you information and we'll stop the class. So he was born on 9th December 1608 and died on 8th December 1674. And he is a hardcore Puritan. Okay, he supported Oliver Cromwell. He had written so many books and so much poetry in support of killing somebody. Who was beheaded in 1649?
Charles one.
Charles the One.
Charles the First was beheaded. Why was he beheaded?
Treason, maybe.
Who came into power after beheading Charles the First in 1649?
Cromwell.
Oliver
Cromwell.
So they want to remove aristocracy, monarchs in England, and they want to restore the parliament, and they want to be ruled by people. Republic, the idea of republic, all those came into their mind. So in 1649, Charles the First was beheaded, and Oliver Cromwell came into the power, and he became the Lord Protector of England, and he had dissolved parliament, and then he died suddenly. So that who came after Oliver Cromwell?
His son Richard Cromwell. Then
Who came? James II or Charles II? Charles II. Charles the Second came.
So Charles II.
Charles II came, And during Oliver Cromwell period, theatres were banned, theatres were closed in 1640. Tell me which year theatres were closed under the
1642.
1642 the theatres were closed. And when did theatres opened?
1660.
1649 Charles I was
1660.
1660 theatres reopened. So 1649 Charles the First was beheaded. Then how could they close theatres in 1642, Deepthi?
Before Charles, actually, Jacobean period itself, end of Jacobean period itself, there was a Protestant rising. So in 1642, they were closed. Even Charles II period itself.
In Charles I period or Charles II period?
Charles I period.
In Charles I period. So is it 1642 or 1649? When did theatres closed in England? Is it 1642 or 1649? You have to find out. Find out and tell me when. 1642. But Charles I beheaded in 1649. Right. Okay. Fine. Let us continue. So he was born in 1608 and died in 1674, and theatres were closed during his age. So he had not written anything for theatre. He had written one of the greatest epics in English literature, and that is the Paradise Lost. Let us go with information. John Milton was an English poet and intellectual who served as a civil servant for the Commonwealth of England under its Council of State and later under Oliver Cromwell. So this person has worked even under Cromwell, and Oliver Cromwell allowed him to publish his work of art. So he is a starch, or he is a hardcore Puritan. That's why Oliver Cromwell supported, and even though the literature was banned, work of art was banned, even theatres were closed, but Milton could successfully publish his literary works. He wrote at a time of religious flux and political upheaval, and is best known for his epic poem Paradise Lost, which was published in 1667. It is written in blank verse. So Paradise Lost is written in blank verse. Paradise Lost is widely considered to be one of the greatest works of literature ever written. So this is the only one epic which is available in English literature other than Beowulf. So what is the source of inspiration for John Milton to write Paradise Lost?
Aeneid.
Who's Aeneid?
Virgil.
Virgil's Aeneid.
Virgil's Aeneid. And John Milton's Paradise Lost also become inspiration for somebody else. Who is that?
John Keats' Hyperion.
Okay.
Hyperion.
What is Hyperion? Is it a fragmentary epic or a full-fledged epic?
Fragmentary epic.
What is the meaning of fragmentary epic?
It is not completed.
He did not complete, sir.
Why didn't he complete?
He died.
He died with what disease? Consumption. Is it only because of consumption, or is because of heartbroken with his lady lover? He fell in love with one woman, and she, not reciprocated or not loved him back in the same way, or in our modern terminology, she was not happy with the relation, so she left Keats. So he had broken heart, and then his disease, consumption, made him to die. Who drowned in a river and died at the age of 32?
Shelley.
Shelley. Okay. So Keats died with consumption. Shelley died drowned in a river. Okay, right. Okay, so John Milton is also nicknamed as the Lady of Christ. When he was studying at Oxford, he was nicknamed as Lady of the Christ. Who was nicknamed as Lady of the Christ?
Milton.
John Milton. And he has published his first poem in 1629 on the morning of Christ's nativity. So he is a hardcore Puritan. He wanted this kind of reformation from the Charles the One to the Oliver Cromwell's the Republican period. He is a kind of a rebel. So to put it simple, Milton is a rebel. That is the reason why he had showcased, or he has shown Saturn as the protagonist or the hero in the Paradise Lost. We'll come to that in later part, like within 2-3 minutes. And then he is also a poet and a clergyman. He worked in church as a clerk. And then he had written Lycidius Pastoral Elegy to commemorate the death of Edward King. Who is this Edward King? He is the friend of John Milton. And he used pathetic fallacy. What is this pathetic fallacy? Quick. John Ruskin coined...
Personification of inanimate things.
No, pathetic fallacy is something joins to mourn the death of shepherd. Which joins?
Nature, sir.
Nature laments the death of the shepherd. Okay, pathetic fallacy. It is coined. The word is coined by John Ruskin. And then what is actually discussed? The Lycidius. This pastoral elegy discuss about the premature death, unfulfillment of ambition, wastage of dedication. So, Milton wrote this Lycidius discussing about the premature death. So he has lost his friend Edward King. They had so much of ambition. They wanted to do so many things. They wanted to become so many in so many ways. But what happened? Sudden death, premature death, we call sudden death, made them to lose his friend, and it is unfulfillment of ambition. People know we have so many ambitions in life. Suddenly something happens, we lose people. And what about their ambitions? It is not about the death of a person, it is the death of even their ambitions also. And wastage of dedication. So Milton thought, no, that much dedication they have used to complete something, and suddenly if the death comes, then there is a wastage of dedication for all what they have shown. So this Lycidius is written by John Milton to commemorate his death of his friend Edward King, and it is in a form of pastoral elegy. What is this pastoral?
Rural country life.
Country life, the richness of countryside, how people live in a pleasant atmosphere, worry free, tension free life. Pastoral elegy. Then magnum opus. What is this magnum opus? What is magnum opus means?
The famous work of it.
Masterpiece. Magnum opus means masterpiece. So what is his masterpiece? John Milton's The Paradise Lost. He started in 1658 and completed in 1665. It took 7 years, and he had written this Paradise Lost in blank verse. And he had written Paradise Regained in 1671. How many books Paradise Lost?
12.
12 books.
Okay, 12 books. 12 books. Correct. In which book Adam and Eve comes?
Sorry, sir.
In which book of Paradise Lost Adam and Eve?
Book 2.
Book 2? Fallen Angels. No, book 1 is Fallen Angels, book 2 is Fallen Angels. How Saturn travels to earth and how he tries to deceive man. Book 2 or book 3? Find out. After this class, you will have a lot of confusion in your mind, so you will definitely read and you find answers to all the questions. Then he had written Samson Agonistes. It's a closet drama. What is this closet drama? I didn't discuss. No, we have discussed so many different dramas, tragedy, comedy, all those things. But what kind of drama is this closet drama? Closet drama means
Only to perform, not only to read. Not
read. A play that is not intended to be performed on stage, but read by a solitary reader or sometimes out loud in small groups. So this is a closet drama which is not meant for performance, but it is only to read. But there is one more kind of drama is also there, which is also meant for reading. What is that? Similar. Louder, ma'am, not clear.
Melodrama, sir.
Find out. There is another form of drama which is meant for reading than showing.
verse play. Is it verse play?
Find out. Okay. So this is closest drama, Samson Agonistia. It is written by Milton and it is read for reading purpose only. It is not the purpose to enact and perform on the stage. And then he had written 2 poems. How do you pronounce this one? Il Penso, Il Allegra and Il Penso. So what is this Il Allegra? It's a happy man, and Il Penso is a contemplative man. So in this poem he discussed the happy man, and in Il Penso he discussed a contemplative man. And Il Allegro is written in 1937 and Il Penso is written in 1957. And then he had published in a 1644 Aeropagitica. It is a book or a political pamphlet discuss the freedom of press, because Oliver Cromwell started screening or controlling the press also, or freedom. He had not given permission to anybody to release their work of arts. So Milton in 1644 he had published this book and requested Oliver Cromwell to grant permission or to give freedom for press, and Oliver Cromwell has supported John Milton because he is also a Puritan. And then he had written Comus. It's a masque. What is masque? Again, a sport of kings and queen enacted by the associates of kings and queens, amateur actors. So Comus is a masque, and this another name is Triumph of Virtue. So I have this Samson Agonista. It's a closet drama. Samson is a narrator. Samson is a hero. He is a strong guy, and he had long hair. This guy has long hair, and he had fallen into love. Something it is there. I am not very clear about that, but the characters I have written here. Okay. Then the criticism. Oh no, what is this? Comus is a masque against masking. So he has criticized the mask, how they have used this mask and how they have polluted, how they have corrupted. So Comus is a mask against masking. See how he has criticized the literary usage of mask. And then in 18th century some criticism has come for John Milton also. In 18th century Blake said that marriage of heaven and hell, because John Milton made the heaven and hell to marry. Of course John Milton actually wanted to write Paradise Lost keeping the Jesus Christ as a protagonist, but unknowingly he has turned into devil's party. So Satan and his companions are known as these devils, and that is called party. So in 18th century William Blake commented used word devil's party about Satan and Milton's Paradise Lost in his book Marriage of Heaven and Hell. And P.B. Shelley said Satan is the hero in Paradise Lost. So this is about John Milton. Now questions from my side. Can anybody tell me the contemporary writers of John Milton?
Bacon, Bunyan,
John Bunyan. Bacon is a prose writer or poet?
Prose writer.
Right. Any other? Kabir?
Yes, Francis Bacon wrote especially essays.
Essays. Right. Okay. Now, who is known as poet's poet? Without taking much time, you have to answer.
Spencer.
Who is the father of English literature?
Chaucer.
Right. Who called Edmund Spenser as a poet's poet?
Charles Lamb.
Who called Chaucer as the father of English literature?
Dryden.
Find out. Is it Dryden? Who called? No, I am not giving answer. I am just giving you questions. Who called Geoffrey Chaucer as the father of English literature? Somebody might have called.
Sir, John Dryden it is showing.
John Dryden?
Yes, sir.
Alright, fine. Okay, so I have not clarified so many doubts in this class. I am leaving you with lot of doubts, with lot of confusion. So after this class, what you are supposed to do is, there will be no test, nothing. Whatever topics we have covered, I have completed here. You have to read